Yo, what's going on guys, and welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be a little something different. I think it's the first time I've done a video like this on my channel. In today's video I'm going to be sharing with you guys what I found to be the best advanced look control settings for Apex on PS4. Quick disclaimer, I'm not saying that if you copy these settings exactly that you'll have instant godlike aim. It's all about practicing and messing around with these settings to find out exactly what works for you. This is just like a template for you to work from. So as you can see, I've got, oh shit, okay, I've changed my buttons, so I do that a lot. As you can see, I've got a fully decked out R99 and a basic R99. Before I show you the settings, I just want a little recoil thing with you guys. So the R99, without putting any pressure on the thumbstick, this is the recoil. So as you can see, it goes up a bit straight and then moves off to the right a bit and then off to the left. Do that again. So see, that's without any pressure whatsoever on the thumbstick. But if you apply just a little bit of pressure on the thumbstick, as you can see, it stays in a tight ball. Let's see if I can do a better one for you guys. Okay, that was just awful. With the recoil as well, it's all about catching it at the right time. So if I try and pull on the thumbstick too quickly, I mean, your aim's just going to go everywhere. And if I do it too late, as you can see, it's going to start to go up and then come back down. But try and catch it at the right time. So, okay, that was a good one. You got to try and catch it at the exact moment you fire the first bullet, really, to be honest. You know, it's not going to be perfect every time, otherwise, you know, you would basically have aimbot if it was perfect every time. See if I can show you on this guy. So, with no recoil, oh sorry, with no pressure to stop the recoil, it just floats up all the time. Let's get rid of him, let's get a fresh one out. But if that wasn't the best, but if I just apply a little bit of pressure, you know, I mean, I know it's the R99, it's a bit of a beam machine anyway, but this is more for like beginners or people that are maybe not familiar with shooters as much and controlling recoil. Another thing I would say as well is when you're practicing, or when you get into the game as well, always aim for like this area, like from, let's say, upper arm up to the head. It's where you're going to be able to do the most damage at the quickest amount of time. Okay, that was awful. You know, if I'm just gonna aim down here, it takes the whole clip, basically catching off. I don't know why I keep picking up ammo, I got 600. But if you aim for like the upper torso and the head, I mean, you're just gonna absolutely melt everybody. And you know, the R99 is not really designed for like long range, but as you can see, you can still get a good beam off with it. I mean, I wouldn't expect to get a kill or finish somebody off from that distance, but you get a little poke damage. It's fine, you know. Alright, now that I've shown you the recoil, let's get into the settings. So with the settings, okay guys, so for the settings, obviously you want to hold options, go into the settings, controller, go to the bottom here, advanced look controls. You want to turn them on so you can customize it. My dead zone, I have it on 3, I believe. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Because my controller has, I'll show you now. If I were to turn it all the way off, as you can see, my controller has quite a bit of drift on it. Which, if I was to keep it like that, it would pull down. Like, it'd be quite hard to control the recoil, because it'd be kind of doing its own thing. So 1, 2, 3. As you can see, no dead zone whatsoever. It's a bit more of a beamer. So next, then, with the response curve, I have mine a little over halfway from the bottom to this basic line here. So it affects how sensitive you. Ooh, what did I do there? It affects how sensitive you want it to be. So obviously, if you have it a bit too low, the movement can feel very twitchy, almost a bit laggy, kind of. But then if you have it too high, it's very dull, and you're just. So I like where I have mine at the minute. It's a nice little area for me. Per optic settings is just all personal preference, really. You see, I just have mine on 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. I haven't really fiddled around with these too much. I might get into looking at this a bit more myself. But yeah, this is just personal preference at that point. Now your speed. This is how quickly the view turns left or right. I have this all the way up because if I'm beaming somebody over here and then I get shot in the back, see how quickly I can turn and look left, right, so you can snap on that target, reload, snap onto that. Obviously don't literally snap on, but you want it to be as high as possible. You want to give yourself the best chance to switch targets and not get beamed from behind, basically. You can world star on people a bit more. Now the pitch speed is how quickly the view up and down. I don't have this all the way up because, you know, there's not very often you need to look like all the way down and all the way up. You want it at a nice happy, not medium, but you know, the turning extra yaw, turning extra pitch, ramp up time, ramp up delay. I don't touch these. I find I don't need to touch these. If you have these two at a good rate for you, then you don't need to bother with any of these ones. But you know, if you're messing around with your own settings, feel free to touch these, you know, see if it helps you at all. So the ADS yaw speed and pitch speed is obviously the same thing, how quickly you turn left and right and up and down, but while aiming. You don't want this as high as just normal in-game, because otherwise you'll be going all over there while you're trying to strafe and stuff. But you still want it at a decent pace, that if you're ADSing, do that, and then if there's another one, say you're shooting at this guy here, another one comes out the side, just quickly move left to him, or if he's here, you've got to mate up on that rock, put the rest of the clip into it. Do you know what I mean? So let's go back to the look controls. And then same with all this, I haven't touched the ADS, yaw speed or anything. So yeah, that's basically my advanced look control settings. There's also one other thing I wanted to show you guys, is this, the L2, R2 button dead zones. I never used to touch these because for some reason, until recently, I was using the bumpers as my shooting. And then obviously the triggers for the ping system and the abilities. But I've recently changed that back because I do have a scuff controller, so I can put the locks on the triggers and stuff. But if you use the button dead zone, this is obviously how sensitive you press the L2 R2 button. If you have it on none, it's not very sensitive at all. You have to put a lot of pressure at the bottom. Default is just how it normally is, basically the same as none. But then obviously if you have it like max, I just find this a bit too high for me. Moderate is just perfect, you know, it's right in the middle. You get a perfect balance. And yeah, I mean, basically that's it. Let me know in the comments how you guys get on with these settings, and try. Like I said in the intro, I'm not saying that if you copy these settings exactly that you'll start beaming everybody. You know, it does all come down to personal preference at the end of the day. But this is just what I found works best for me, and if you guys are not too sure about how all of it works, you've never really fiddled around with settings before, because I didn't really until a few months ago. Then, you know, feel free, copy the settings, have a feel around with it. I'd highly advise playing or going into firing range for an hour or so, just, you know, just really having a go, you know, just seeing what works best for you and best for your controller as well at the end of the day, because some people's controllers have more drift, less drift, or like you might not have the best, you know, what are they called, analogs, you know. It all depends. It all depends on you, the way you play, your controller and everything. If anyone's interested in like my field of view and stuff, I play on 110. And if you guys want to know why I have yellow red for my guns, why I have the colorblind settings, I'm not colorblind. I just find that most the sights I like to use are the HCOGs, or like the bruisers, like the red dots. I find with the yellow dot instead of the red dot, it's a lot easier to stay on target and track your target, I find. Yeah, if anyone's curious as to why I'm using colorblind settings, that's why. But anyway, that's it for the video. I hope you guys learned something today and this video was helpful, and I'll see you on the next one.